Welcome to another Digital Marketing Answered with me, Tim Butler, founder and CEO of Innovation Visual. I'm really happy today to be joined by Javi from our team, and we're going to be talking about account-based marketing, ABM, what you need to know. So welcome to the DMA podcast, Javi. How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So, we are here today to talk about account-based marketing. I think the starting point for our audience just needs to be for those people that maybe don't know what it is. Can you just provide an overview of what account-based marketing is?
Yeah, sure. So account-based marketing is a B2B strategy that focuses on targeting high-value accounts and tailoring marketing and sales efforts to engage with those accounts throughout their buying journey. So, as a primary objective, ABM has to boost revenue growth by help you do better resource allocation as well as leveraging data and expertise to build stronger relationship with target accounts, yeah,
Okay.
personalization and other things like, for example, targeted advertising and other hyper targeted tactics as well.
So, so if we're kind of looking at a difference between traditional B2B marketing, digital marketing, and ABM, what you're saying is it comes down to this uh, much more targeted approach, so having specific target accounts that you're going after. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So the whole idea of it is bring in sales and marketing to work closer together so they can work out, all the insights they need to close more business, to understand what are the accounts that really drive a lot of value to the business, and then work out ways to accurately go after those accounts basically as a team.
Okay, interesting. Right. So you brought in the fact that there's actually a research part of it as well, because you talked about which accounts are the most profitable. So that's quite interesting. So uh, digging into the benefits, why should people be thinking about using account-based marketing as a strategy over, you know, another B2B kind of digital approach?
Well, I feel that the main advantage to ABM is that it really provides you with a clear framework to foster better alignment with marketing between marketing and client prospect facing departments such as sales and customer success that
Okay.
possess really valuable information to inform the way that those target accounts are being selected, and then how the campaigns are crafted to go after those accounts in terms of advertising and in terms of content creation,
Okay.
as well as leveraging data better. As you know, probably everybody knows nowadays, data is super important for businesses, but
Yeah.
the real value of data lies really in the insights that it provides, as well as what it can enable in terms of automation. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So in terms of the data, and just going back to it, so what it allows you is to use the data and use it for orchestration of personalized and hyper target campaigns at scale, number one. Number two is once you have a framework, you also have a better understanding of the right questions to ask along the journey,
Yeah.
which also denominates as progressive record enrichment. Then the other bit is better reacting to engagement and intent data as well, because you will place the right mechanisms to get alerts whenever certain individuals from a target account
Okay.
interacts with your content or your website in a way that is really meaningful, like for example visiting your pricing page or book a demo page and doesn't really carry out that action, there is a way for you to enable your team to follow up with that and get more results, basically.
Okay. Okay. So to help like our listenership tend to be, you know, senior marketing leaders, help them understand then like what successful ABM is made up of. What I'm hearing from you is that it consists of having a structured framework within which the ABM campaigns, plural, operate, and there's the process in the system, and then utilization of data points within that framework to get effective performance. Is that kind of how you would describe it for somebody who is setting up effectively what they're doing on this? Would that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly right. So at the end of the day is aligning the target with the content, with the touch points, and just making everything work in order to orchestrate your campaigns better.
Okay. Okay. So taking that forward then, let's talk about what needs to happen if somebody here, marketing decision maker, maybe they're new to an organization, they might have, you know, dabbled a bit with ABM, or they're not quite sure what they're doing. If they're starting to try and do ABM, can you kind of describe to me what the steps would be? What would be the things that, you know, if you're starting in a simple way, but to get some results, what would you do?
Mhm. Yeah, so just like with any other strategy, I would suggest the first step to be um, formalizing the expectations towards your ABM program. And with that, define the goals, the objectives, and the key performance indicators.
Okay.
Then number two, identifying your target accounts as well as prioritizing them. And
Yeah.
it's important to highlight the fact that prioritization is really, really important to stay focused, but also to help you allocate resources more effectively across your different tiers of accounts, if
Okay.
that makes sense. Um, this help you run your program at scale and with the appropriate, like by adjusting the appropriate communication approach to the level of importance,
Okay.
engagement, and also the information that you possess about the target account, which is ultimately what allows you to go deeper into the personalization and the
Okay.
hyper targeting.
So just so I'm clear and those people listening are clear, um, you establish some metrics of what you want to achieve, which is largely going to be revenue goals, but it could also be how many MQLs then go on to become SQLs and opportunities, that kind of thing. So you establish some foundation metrics to which you're going to measure success. And then it seems like the next stage is taking your target personas, your target ICP, ideal client profile, and really understanding that in detail. Is that what I'm hearing in terms of what you want, so that then you were talking about prioritizing people based on fit? Was it fit or fit and actions?
Yeah, both. So fit, because of course you want to go after those accounts that will translate into more revenue, but also by the level of engagement that those accounts are already displaying. That's where data points become really important, because then you can, continuously analyze how engaged, how sales ready those accounts are, and based on that,
Okay.
you can go, stronger after those accounts just to be more efficient with the time spent by the sales team.
So we're using data points that reflect intent and timeliness within our ABM framework, and we're using that to then prioritize, saying, "Hey, there's some real opportunities here. Let's do more within our ABM." So you know me. I'm not the most patient person. I'm chomping at the bit. So I've done my KPIs. I've got my ICPs. I'm eager to go. What what do I need to get this on the road? Because you know how I get keen and excited about these things.
Yeah, well, to get it on the road, you first need the vehicle for it. So for that, you need to assess your tech stack. That is, I
Okay,
think, yeah, because you need to evaluate if your tech stack will be able to support your ABM program. And to do that, you have to look at things like, for example, marketing and sales automation capabilities, explicit, implicit, and behavioral data collection tools, web and email personalization capabilities as well through personalization tokens, account and lead scoring properties, smart audience segmentation so that you can run all that in an orchestrated manner. And then campaign dashboards as well to report on performance, and of course, all the integrations needed in order to connect your ecosystem.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody know, well, I think most people listening know that we're a HubSpot partner, and do some magical stuff with HubSpot, as well as others technology. Um, Obviously HubSpot does answer that question. Are there other systems out there that you can use, or is it not simply, easier saying it's X or Y, but what other technology can do it with as well as HubSpot?
You mean in terms of a CRM or in
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of,
yeah. Put you on
well,
the spot there.
yeah, well, it really depends because you have other platforms like Salesforce or Zoho that are very much sales oriented, but I feel marketing brings in that marketing piece that is necessary to, you know, dis display display the full potential of what you can do in terms of
Okay.
campaigns and stuff. So, um,
So what you're saying is they need to, if they've not got like HubSpot marketing and sales, they need to basically assess what they do have and whether it's useful, whether it will work for them for this.
yeah, exactly. There are other marketing tools out there. It's just that I personally don't have the knowledge to tell you, yeah, that would be a great
Okay.
fit. I know about HubSpot because I work on HubSpot every day, and I know how powerful it can be for ABM.
Okay. Okay. So we've got the vehicle, HubSpot or something with equivalent capabilities. We're getting the show on the road. So what are we putting in there to get our ABM underway? What's our next stage?
Yeah, so after you have assessed your tech infrastructure, the next step will be tailoring the right content to engage with the personas within your target accounts. And this is something I also wanted to mention because the fact that you are targeting accounts doesn't mean that you should forget about having a people-centered approach to communication, because at the end of the day, you're talking to people with challenges, objectives, goals, and aspirations of their own, right? So it's important to craft a message that addresses the organization needs from the unique angle that they truly care about, and that's really what sparks the internal discussion about your solution, which ultimately affects or like has a positive impact over the customer journey velocity.
Okay.
So you really need to think about that, and also think about not just about how to keep them engaged, but also how to enable reconversion opportunities to do what we discussed before about record enrichment in a progressive way. As every time they
Okay.
convert, you can capture new information that allows you to go deeper into personalization and hyper targeting.
That's really interesting. What you're saying is that the next point is looking at the content, understanding how the content is focused around the human need rather than just thinking about things in a very practical way, from an organizational viewpoint, but making it human centric. So say we've got together some of this content that's going to resonate with our target audience people. We've got our platform. How do we join these together? How do we take the next step of actually putting content into the magical framework?
Uh, well, at that point, you are already building campaigns, and the next step will be really thinking what are the best channels to deploy those campaigns. So, in that regard, you have different options out there. There are ABM specific platforms that help you grow your uh, target accounts pipeline, but also leverage intent data to serve ads to individuals within those target accounts when they are displaying intent on the web. Some of those platforms that I can think of are Bombora, G2. There is also Triblio, which has recently been rebranded to Foundry. Um, and ZoomInfo, Trendyman. There is
Okay,
an
there's a
almost
few out
endless
there.
count of those. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But there is also LinkedIn. So there is, for example, the Sales Navigator tool that allows you to identify and curate your list of target accounts and leads within those target accounts, and then you can use advertising tools to run role-based or stage-based campaigns to those individuals.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
interesting. So we're creating campaigns now and keeping it in simplistic terms so people listening or watching are thinking, okay, so this campaign's going to consist of specifically targeting these accounts that we've identified and the people within these accounts using tools like Bombora or LinkedIn or whatever, pushing content that's going to engage with them on that platform. And then what do they need to do on their own website? What would they have on their own site? What would they be doing on their own site? And how would they sort of translate what they're doing off-site and on-site into insights that push people down the sales journey?
Well, here is like when HubSpot becomes a central piece to all this, because with HubSpot you have tracking capabilities so that whenever someone comes from a certain source, you can then trigger some, personalized CTAs or some uh, personalization token that corresponds to, what these people previously saw in your ad that was presented to them off page, and then kind of like, continue with the same sort of interaction when they're already on page, so that you keep them engaged, you show them proper content offering that ties in well with what they just saw, and then you can collect more information about that prospect as they convert.
Okay, so you give an example. They've been on LinkedIn, they've seen some content around problem X, which is something that would typically occur for somebody in this type of organization. They've come through from LinkedIn in this case, and because we know it's them, is what we're saying, we can personalize call to action CTAs on a page to then give them more content. So it might be we've gated something on there, they've read something, and then we've gated something, and then we're asking maybe for a little bit more information, or we've even just not gated it, we've just put a customized call to action there, and then what we're scoring the fact that they've done that. Is that the what we're talking about here?
Yeah, that's correct. At that point, you can score, you can segment, so you can, decide what the next step will be in the journey for that prospect.
So, that's interesting. So you're talking about segmenting. So here we might have we've got a whole group of target accounts and they fit our ICP. We're putting out a campaign and the campaign talks about problem X. They come to a landing page and we might have on the landing page we might say it could be apples uh is an option, or oranges as an option, using that in a very stylistic way, but apples or oranges. And if they pick oranges, then we take them, they then go into a orange orientated then flow. So we're now branching them to become more personalized and more specific. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And not only that, but also now that you have identified that those people are interested in oranges, if you want to run a retargeting campaign once they have left your website, you can start directing the conversation towards oranges because oranges is what they care about.
Okay. Okay. So that's really interesting. So then when they're next on LinkedIn, they see something from us about oranges, but you could give them another choice at the, down the line. So you could say, do you want your oranges sliced or peeled? Effectively.
Exactly.
You can keep personalizing down there. Right. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
And then, so early on, you talked about marketing and sales very much collaborating on this and working together on this. When does this stop being marketing and start becoming sales, or is that line blurred? So, you know, we now know they're into sliced oranges. How do we get to the revenue? I'm being impatient again. Where show me the money, Javi.
Yeah, I really like, I don't feel like there is a point in which marketing should stop unless the conversation has just come to the point in which they're ready to sign. And even after
Okay.
that, and even after that, when they become a customer, customer loves the personalized touch to things. So marketing working with customer success to, delight those existing customers and unpin possibilities for upselling and cross-selling afterwards.
I love that. So basically, marketing jobs never done. Sorry to all those marketing leaders out there that are thinking, "Oh, God, I was hoping that we could finish and hand them off to somebody." But what you're saying is almost that the flywheel, the HubSpot flywheel, that circle of delight, if you like, that marketing should always be having a touch points with these people. Even if they've become a customer, then it's an opportunity to delight them, upsell, cross sell, retain, that kind of thing, in collaboration with customer service, customer success.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there is there's a handoff, if you like, I suppose. Then that's triggered by scoring, where sales need to get involved and have that one-to-one conversation. Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, so you can enable different mechanisms to understand the level of engagement of a given account or a given individual within a certain account so that then sales receives the signal to go after them with a more one-to-few or one-to-one direct approach, as you said.
Okay. Okay. So if we're going to be doing this as a marketing leader, um let's take the scenario. There's a marketing leader listening to this. They're going, okay, well, that sounds really great. um a couple of questions they're going to have, and they're going to go, okay, Javi, right, how long does it take me to set this up? How much does it cost me to set it up? And then I'm going to come on to the third question, which is what I'm going to get. So to start with, how long is it going to take to set this up, Javi? Is this something that can be done in a week? Is it a month? Is it a year? Because
Well,
marketing leaders need to know
well, it's not that easy, Tim, because it really will
that.
depend. It really will depend how mature you are in terms of understanding your target audience, because you might as well know already who you're talking to, and you might already have enough content to craft a very well elaborated journey, or you
Okay.
could be in the position of not of having none of that. You know,
Right.
then it could be the case that you have the first two, but you don't have the tech stack to enable that.
Okay.
So you need to work on those aspects that I just mentioned before. But you can start small. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything all at once. ABM is not really like a set and forget thing that you go and do once and try it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's more of like an evolving program that undergoes several iterations and elements additions. So you really need to, understand or have the proper reporting and all that to understand what's working, what's not. So you can go step by step. You don't need to do everything all at once. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. Uh,
Okay.
so it's
That's
ABM.
Yeah, you're starting for a moment to sound like an SEO professional, which then standard answer is it depends. Um, but no, I get that. It's like you can't put a timeline and a cost on something if you don't know where the starting point of the journey is, because what you're saying is it depends how far along you are with things like content, with understanding, with what data points you're collecting, because it could be that you've got a relatively bland setup. And I know we've seen it, haven't we, with new clients coming on board. They've been onboarded HubSpot, and I'm using the floating things there and quote marks onboard. And really, they haven't got very many custom property fields. They don't really know much detail, and therefore they need to build out detail in a system like that. And we have to do that before we can start doing this magical stuff. And also, as you rightly point out, the content, you need content to fulfill that journey. But what people are then going to be asking is, okay, well, if we're going to invest in this as a strategy, and I think your answer was very good in that clearly it's not a one-off like tactic of do a bit of ABM and it's done. As you say, it's not a one-off. It is a strategy that you take forward. So if marketing and revenue leaders listening to this is saying, okay, well, yeah, it sounds like I could go with the strategy, I need to sell it in. What's the likely benefit of that potentially impacting? How's it going to positively impact those organizations that adopt ABM?
Uh, yeah, so we talked about the revenue growth being the main benefit of ABM or the main goal of ABM.
Yeah,
And that is a result of different factors, such as reduce acquisition costs. Um, just to throw some industry numbers out there, there is
yeah.
a study conducted by Forrester that indicates that when companies invest in ABM, they see up to 40% cost reduction in terms of acquisition of leads generated by marketing.
Wow. I mean, that in itself, reducing lead costs by 40% means that your budget is going to be going almost twice as far, not quite. I mean, that's a massive improvement.
Yeah, and the same way, you will get probably, an increase in win rate. So Gardner conducted a study saying that companies with a mature ABM program also see a 50% higher win rate than those without it,
Right.
and and also 50% faster sales cycle, which and it translates as well in taking you less time to generate revenue.
Yeah, I mean, if you take those two metrics together, you're making your salespeople so much more effective because they win more often and they're spending less time on each of the customer journeys, so they're able to cycle through deals much faster. So you're saying
Yeah.
50% improvements there. I mean, wow, that's
Yeah.
that's really powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, and think about it. If by the time those prospects start talking to sales, if you have done your homework and you have nurtured like the different personas within those target accounts, not only the decision-making unit, but also other people that might affect the purchase decision in one way or another, you will have people who understand the value of your offering
Yeah,
on the decision making unit, but also probably the operational unit that represents your end user as well. And when that happens, it will take you less time and less convincing to close the sale. So it all kind of like adds
yeah,
up at the end of the day. So
yeah. We should maybe rename this podcast episode as how to improve your efficiency of revenue generation by more than 100%. Because if you multiply all the metrics together, that's what we're talking about, more than double the effectiveness. Okay. Really interesting in terms of what you get out of it, as well as the creation. And I know we've talked about it in principles, and it's hard to actually give the specifics because each of the campaigns within an ABM strategy is going to be tailored to the companies, the target accounts, and things like that. But like, is this something that people should be tackling internally, or is it something that they should be leaning on agencies to do, or is this something that typically you see as a combined between companies and their agency partners?
Yeah, well, it really depends on, you know, what are your internal capabilities as well. If you have a team that is, you know, big enough and knowledgeable enough to take on this task, then that's fine. But, you know, help from an agency that knows how to implement this program could also be very efficient in terms of time and efforts as well. So it really depends. And you could have the agency to do the work, or you can have the agency as a consulting partner to deploy the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I suppose really to wrap it up, what we're talking about when it comes to what you need to know about ABM, it's something that you've got to commit to because it's a strategy. It's something that requires you to really think about your target audience from a human as well as a business need perspective, yeah.
Correct.
And then it seems to me, and I know we didn't touch on this too much in detail, but it seems like personalization and the detail within your ABM streams is where you really reap the results. So you don't want to be applying ABM and making it all very general. It sounds to me like it's all about this. If they do X, move them into this stream. The apples and oranges analogy that we used.
Yeah, that's correct. Because at the end of the day, that if you didn't do that, then it wouldn't be different from a broad-based marketing approach. So that is really the core of IBM. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean that's really good. Obviously, if people are interested in knowing more, they can reach out to us via the Innovation Visual website. Also, I hope people will provide some comments and give some feedback on the different platforms, but also, give us a review. Helps other people discover the content. Hopefully you'll think what Javi and myself have been talking about today is 5-star, and it'll make you like and subscribe as well. And I think, Javi, this is a subject maybe we should come back to, and we should delve into in a little bit more detail, and maybe actually come up with another podcast episode which goes into some more of the detail there, if you're open to that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Well, until then, and we need to thank our listeners and viewers, depending on what platform they're on, for spending their time listening to Digital Marketing Answered. Hopefully, you've really enjoyed the account-based marketing, what you need to know episode, and that you're going to subscribe and hit those notifications so that you get to hear all of the future episodes that we've got. And remember, there's also the big back catalogue as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you again to Javi for bringing all of his extensive knowledge to the episode. And until next time, hope your digital marketing goes well.